Hey guys, I just wrapped up a podcast with my buddy Colby. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting one for you to check out. If you're listening to this on Spotify or any of your podcast apps, just go ahead, and if you want to see my beautiful shiny face, you can check it out on YouTube. Look up my channel, Really Regular Guy. Also, I think there was an interruption during the podcast, but hey, that's dad life. Sit back and enjoy the show. Thanks. All right. Well, I know it's going to be kind of weird to do a podcast because you ain't never done one before.
Yeah, for sure.
In fact, it's been a little bit since I've done one, but the way I like to start them out is pretend like I don't know you and just introduce yourself as if nobody knows you.
Gotcha. So, Colby Briges, originally from Crestview. Been here, grew up my whole life here, basically. Wasn't born here. Born in Germany, actually. My dad was in the Air Force at the time. But yeah, my whole life basically been in the Crestview. Graduated from Laurel Hill, but been in the Crestview, in this area my whole life.
Laurel Hill hobos.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're big into fitness and stuff like that. Did that come from high school or
be honest, man,
getting into that?
My mom,
really?
like years and years ago, she would take me to the gym. She was a fitness instructor. She taught, Zumba classes, aerobics, did put some personal training, and so she would just bring me up to the gym all the time.
Like when you were in high school or like
when I was a kid, man, young.
Early?
Yeah, probably around, 6, 7 years old. So
yeah,
from the time I knew what anything was, really, I guess I was in a gym setting and would just see guys coming in and out of there, and I'm like, yeah, one day I kind of want to look like that, or kind of started getting inspired for it, around that time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I didn't get exposed to like working out or any of that crap until after high school. Even when I was in high school, man, I could barely do like 20 push-ups. I didn't play football. I didn't do anything.
Right.
Like all the jocks and stuff. But it's kind of funny because later on in life, like as you grow older, right, and then you get into fitness. Not saying that I got the best physique, but when I see like the guys who used to play football and stuff like that in high school that were big and like cut, I see them now and they done kind of fell back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
As me, I started like getting into
it.
I got a lifestyle where I'll never stop.
Yep.
I go through motivational humps,
Of
where
course.
sometimes I'm just like, and sometimes it lasts for like a week or two, like where I'm just not motivated at all.
Not in the mood, yeah. I think that too, man, like, guys in high school, they're being essentially forced to do it. If they're playing a sport, they got a coach staying on them about it. But like with me and you, I mean, you got to have self-motivation. No one's making us do it. It's and I honestly, now I'll say I've stuck through it, honestly, for just my mental health. People ask if I'm going to compete. I'll never rule it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might compete one day. I don't have a desire to right now. Just a lot on my plate, but
That's tough.
it gives me an outlet. I played college baseball, played baseball in high school, and after getting injured in college, it just gave me an outlet to kind of still try to better myself. And,
yeah. What college were you attending?
So I got my AA from Northwest Florida State College.
Okay.
Then I went out to Kansas with Terry. Terry Cobb was out there.
Okay.
He was a corner, and we ended up. He was like, "Yo, bro, if you just want to get into a new area, come do school up here." And I actually just went out there and tried out. And
what college in
Kansas? It was Friends University in Wichita, Kansas. It's a private school, NAIA school. So competition wise, it's about like a D2 competition level wise. But I went out. They had an open tryout. I mean, I still had a little bit in me from high school playing ball and stuff, and they ended up offering me a partial scholarship to play. So I ended up playing 2 years of baseball out there while he was, playing football.
I was stationed in Fort Riley, so we were kind of close to Manhattan, Kansas, which had Kansas City or whatever. Kansas State. I don't know.
KSU, and then you got WSU too.
It was pretty big college.
Yeah,
there,
Kansas State.
Yeah, we used to go and do PT there every now and then, man. Like run the track and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Manhattan and
Junction City's right outside the gate.
All those areas out there.
I used to go to Manhattan just to get out of the area and just go to
Yeah,
Walmart.
go somewhere else.
How long did you actually stay there and play baseball?
I was there 2 years. Then I partially tore my rotator cuff my second year there. Got thrown into a game. We were playing in Texas, actually, North Texas, and you know how Florida weather, it's extreme, bro.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
We get and people are like, why would you move from Florida to come out here and you got the beaches? And I'm like, yeah, we also got hurricanes, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we got some other stuff.
Yeah.
It's not as, and when you know how it is, we grew up around it our whole life. So,
yeah, it ain't
in a sense, it doesn't really become as special to us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got out there in a game. They threw me in the bullpen to warm up the pitch, and it was like 27 degrees. And the wind chill was like in the teens.
Oh, and I know about
that. As a Florida boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't built for all that.
That's a struggle.
And about the third pitch I let go when they brought me in the game, I felt something. It was, radiating pain going from the shoulder, tingling all the way down into my arm. And I was like, okay, maybe I strained it. But when the catcher threw the ball back to me, I put the ball in my hand. I saw the ball, but it's like I couldn't feel it. It was the weirdest sensation, and at that point, I tried to throw one more pitch, and I short hopped the catcher like 5 foot. Like, I couldn't even get it to the plate.
Wow.
And that's at that point, then the pain just got far worse,
Man, and that's super unfortunate because, I mean, sometimes I know that messes with you mentally too.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're thinking like, where would I have been had that not have happened, and had I been able to pursue that career that literally that's why you're in college, like,
Absolutely.
was to play baseball.
Yep.
And
had partial scholarship to do it. I was paying some out of pocket. It was a private school, so you're out there kind of paying extra money away from family, away from your friends back home, and it definitely that was hard. Because then I had to do a lot of physical therapy and rehab. And
so, how old do you remember? Like, around how old you were when that happened?
Was 2000. That was 2010, 2011.
Okay.
So I was only 20 years old.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the feeling of like losing something that you kind of worked for and that you kind of casted your future out into.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, you start thinking about, like I just said a minute ago, where you're just like, man, where would I have been? What could I have done? Like, had all this would have worked out for me.
Right.
And that's like a hard talk to have with yourself, and it took me years. It took me years to get over that.
Same, man.
And to finally, like, actually just accept reality for what it was, and just accept, like, I'm where I'm at right now because I'm supposed to be here.
You're supposed to, yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
This is how
right.
life
and
works
I
out.
knew, skill level wise, I knew I didn't have the size to play at the next level. I could have probably, played a couple more years or whatever at the collegeate level, but making it professional in baseball is extremely tough. You got the minor leagues, and obviously, me, I'm 5'5", 5'6" on a good day,
Yeah.
And so it's like, these guys are 6'2", 6'3",
Monsters.
Stacking in, 245. They're big dudes. And
looking like they can run the combine on the NFL.
Exactly.
NFL drive.
So I knew it wasn't going to be a professional thing, but at the time I wanted to be a baseball coach. I was going to school for physical education, and I was like, I'm going to go back home and coach a high school baseball team. That was my mind frame at the time, and what I was planning on doing. But like you said, then
life said, hell no.
Yeah,
we changing it up, bro.
Had to revamp, reevaluate what I was gonna do, and like you said, man, accept that wow, I'm 1,600 miles away. I just got hurt. Yeah.
So how long did you stay after you got hurt? Like, after you?
I actually only stayed for another semester, and the shoulder, they offered surgery. The college was gonna pay for it. But they said it wasn't totally necessarily, like, because it was a partial tear.
Yeah.
So they were like, you don't have to have surgery. We'll pay for it if you want. And I'm like, well, I ain't gotta get cut open. Like, I'll just rehab it. So I was only out there for another semester, and then with the money, I'm like, I might as well just go back home, do some schooling there, and I was still trying to figure out, like you said, like, go back home, but I'm still don't have a direction yet.
Yeah, it's almost kind of that walk of shame too, man. You leave, everybody knows you left for a reason.
Yeah.
And you come back, you're like,
what can you do?
Didn't work out. So after that, what was kind of your next step? Was it just you just got a job somewhere, just started trying to work?
Yeah, come back and shoot. A lot of people, they don't even know this, but like I came back, had met my wife now, so we were dating at the time. I come back, actually ended up having our first son, and I was essentially working part time for a security company, like doing security alarms and CCTV systems. Access gates and doors and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So basically working, and then I actually went through a period of time where I was like a part-time stay-at-home dad. So I'd stay, with him 2-3 days a week because she was trying to finish her nursing program, and it was crazy. And I got shout out to all the stay-at-home moms and parents because.
Yeah. And dads.
Yeah, and dads too, because that honestly was the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my life.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, you don't have coworkers. You don't get lunch breaks. You don't walk away from a 2-year-old and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the firehouse and grab a sub rope. I'll be back in a minute, bro." You don't get to do that.
Just chill.
Yeah, just chill. No. You don't get to step out and take your little 15 smoke break or whatever. And even with coworkers, you don't have no one at the house to vent to or, hey, can you help me out with this real fast? So it's just you.
Yeah, I remember my daughter was 2 years old. I was like, man, in the middle of the day, I'm like, man, I'm about to lay down and take a nap right now because she's asleep. And I woke up to a slap in the face and her laughing at me. Yeah, because of the way I reacted.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. They're a full-time job in themselves.
They are,
and they require a lot. They're demanding.
Yeah,
it's tough. So it gave me a new perspective because a lot of guys or a lot of people in general, they just like, oh, they stay at home, they don't do anything, and they don't. And I'm like, bro, stay at home for like 2 days, bro. You'll want to pull your hair out. Like,
yeah, it can be tough. I couldn't imagine like having 3 or 4 like at one time. Some people do, and
that's amazing. I see ladies in Walmart sometimes with 5-6 kids grocery shopping by themselves, and I'm just like, man, God bless that woman. Man.
Yeah,
for what she's. Doing anything with kids can be hard and different for sure.
It teaches you a lot, though. Obviously, patience is number one thing it teaches you. And
that's right.
And I know as Chevy was growing up and I was doing my thing with her, I used to, like, sometimes, man, I would get so mad and I would just have to eat it up inside because I would think to myself, like, man, all right, as she's growing up, she's going to remember.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't ever know, like, when they're going to start remembering stuff. Like,
yeah.
So it's like, if she's a 1.5 and, like, I'm hollering, like, she might remember that.
She's going to pick up on it.
So I always, like, try to watch my P's and Q's and try to, like, play it smooth, even though, like, inside I was bubbling up, man.
And you don't have nowhere to, like I said, there ain't no coworker to come, hey, can you cover me real quick? I just need to, so it's, I mean, you know all about it, bro.
Yeah, man.
So it's tough.
But it is, at the end of it all, it is one of the most rewarding things, to be able to see them.
Sure. And, they connect with you. I mean, my son's close to me, They remember that amount of time. And I was still, like I said, I was still working part-time. And then we actually got into condo and beach home cleaning, like down on Miramar Beach, 30A, Sandestin area. And, at the time, I could go down there on a Saturday with her, and between, 10 to 4, we make $600-$700 on a Saturday. Some people weren't making that, working a 40-hour week, getting paid $10 an hour or whatever. So it was like, hey, at the time, it's just what I had to do, And it was mentally challenging. I went through some depression with it because, you go, you were playing sports and you were excelling, and then life just came to a halt, and now I'm doing something I didn't think I was ever gonna do, and that's also the same time that I started formulating the brand, getting into personal training, which you remember. We shot a video, I think we
did like a back workout. That was when I was first started like recording.
That's right.
The video, my videos kind of sucked back then. I mean, there ain't a whole
still
lot
wasn't that bad though.
Yeah,
but now they're good now.
But I did my bout with personal training a little bit, but I didn't have the drive for it like I thought I did.
It's tough, too.
Because when you're sitting there and you ain't getting paid, like
that.
A gym hired me, so I'm sitting in there and I'm putting in time. I've been there for 2 weeks for 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, like long hours.
Long days.
Making maybe getting about an hour and a half's worth of pay out of the gig.
Right, and then you're having to pour into other people.
2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, I could barely pay a cell phone bill. And I was like, man, I can't do it.
Can't do this.
Yeah, but
and you got to be in a trainer, because I've had people. I'm sure you had. Oh man, that's not really a job. You just help people work out, and it's like
it's really a job.
It is, and you gotta. Them people are coming to you for that motivation, that inspiration. So when you're like morally down, when you ain't feeling your best, it's hard to pour that kind of energy into anybody, because you need that energy yourself. You know what I'm saying? So,
but on the other side of that too, sometimes that does kind of inspire you and motivate you when you're not motivated. Yeah, you're like, all right, well, I got buddy over here that's he's going through it, and he's eager to learn and this and that. So I got to get to it.
Yep. A lot of times, my clients, I think we actually ended up inspiring and helping each other. Yeah. And so that's another thing. Maybe a lot of trainers don't admit that, but like a lot of times I needed my clients as much as they thought they needed me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because we all go through, like I said a while ago, like motivational kind of humps and shit. So sometimes it's good to have just other people to help motivate you. I know I end up doing, it's weird, but I end up like going on YouTube and watching like motivational stuff. And sometimes I still do it to this day. Seek motivation from outside source sometimes. I'm not super motivated inside. A lot of people kind of think I am, but really I'm not. And sometimes my demotivation will last, like I said, two weeks, a month. Like sometimes it's just tough.
It is.
And every now and then I give into it, but I found the best way to overcome that is for me is literally fake it until you make it, right? So you just gotta do. You get up, you tell yourself, all right, today I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna go to the gym, come home, do a podcast or do whatever I want to do. Right. But you make yourself do that. Yeah. And even if you're not motivated that day to do it, the next day you tell yourself, all right, man, I gotta get up, I gotta eat this, I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna go to the gym, and then 2 or 3 days after doing that, then you start getting in a routine. All right, now I'm back in a routine. Now I'm trying to motivate again.
Yeah, but it becomes more of just a discipline thing, man. It's not even. I'm sure you've gotten that question. How do you stay motivated, bro? And you're like, I don't, dog. I don't stay motivated, bro. I don't know. And I know the internet. There's a lot of, you've seen it.
You don't see the demotivation, and it makes you think that there's something wrong with you. Like, man, like what's wrong with me? Like, am I depressed? Like, do I have a problem? Yeah. It's like, yeah, you're normal. Exactly. That's the problem.
And the internet don't let you see everything. And even the fitness influencers and all they're putting out is they don't feel pumped up every day. They put it out to the world, and I get it because they got a slew of people. Really. Yeah, they got a slew of people counting on them for that. But I know for a fact they go through, the same stuff like me and you, man. Some valleys where you're just like, golly, man, what do I need to do to kick myself back into gear?
So if you're one of those people that get unmotivated for a brief period of time, just know that it's normal. Yeah, like absolutely. Everybody ain't just motivated all the time, 100% go. Not everybody's what's that guy's, not Jocko, but what's that Navy SEAL guy that does all those marathons?
David Goggins, man.
Everybody ain't no Goggins.
Goggins is a G.
that dude is insane. So all right, so you were doing condo cleaning, then you just started your brand a little bit. Did you start personal training first?
I did.
And that kind of lines up with what your mom did. And it also kind of lines up with what you planned on doing with your future anyways, is being a coach.
In a sense, I wanted to stay involved with something that had to do with fitness, bettering yourself mentally. Because, I think you could agree, the gym helped it. When you have a goal of any kind, it does keep you accountable to those things about just being better all the way around, not just in the gym, but the gym was teaching me a lot, or even training in college, it taught me discipline. And so a lot of stuff in the gym, I could, bring out into other things, other goals or projects that I was working on, and be like, hey, if I can, bust my legs down for an hour and a half in the gym, then I should be able to, go home and for you do a podcast or whatever it might be, different little things,
do homework,
building guns, whatever, because that's, it's all the same. So I did, man. I started doing personal training first, and I'm like, man, I want to do some shirts. And I actually prayed about it, man, for a while. I actually would sit down at the kitchen table and jot some names down and be like, crumble the ball up and throw it in the trash. Be like, I'd walk away from it, wouldn't think about it for a couple days. And I was like, okay, I don't want to start a brand that's strictly fitness. You know what I mean? Because Fitness, bodybuilding is something.
Isolates people.
It does, man. And, you know, that's not everybody's passion. Bodybuilding is something I like to do. But, hey, I don't frown on anybody who doesn't like to work out. You know what I mean? I encourage people to do it because I think you can learn a lot from it. But,
so good mentally. So
yeah,
good
and, you know, it's good for your health too, you know. But, shoot, some people like to fish, hunt. Some people like to shoot, you know, go out to the shooting range. That's their thing to release, you know, some tension, whatever. So I was like, you know, what is a common when you're in the gym, you know, what are you trying to do? You're trying to progress. You're trying to move forward with your goal. So came up with Project AMF because the word project is something you're working on. You know, I'm working on a project, and, you know, always moving forward, you have to continually it's a continual project through your life, no matter what you're doing. Never stops, you know, and no matter what career field or what your passion is or whatever, you know, I feel like that's the mentality that we all have to try to keep, you know. And I'm like, okay, if I do this, you know, anybody can apply, you know, whatever. If it is the gym, they can apply AMF to that. If they're a business owner, if they're
racing RC cars.
Exactly, bro. So it was just, you know, I'm like, I don't want to exclude anybody. I don't want people to feel like, oh, well, I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not and so I can't wear that, you know, because if I would have called it such and such fitness or, you know, whatever, I'm tying myself into that group of people.
I see your shirts everywhere. I see, in fact, at field day today, there was a dude.
Oh, really?
There was a dude out there wearing your shirt today.
Okay.
Yeah, so I see
it's crazy. It's still wild to me, man. It honestly is. It's just.
I'm glad it's taken off like it has for you. I hope it's taken off. Anyways, I don't know exactly.
Yeah. It. I mean, there's definitely a big buzz behind it. Especially in the MMA combat sports.
Yeah, I've been seeing you posting a lot about that. So you've got a couple of fighters that are kind of.
Yeah. And that's actually
what's going on with that.
So I had the brand, actually went through a whole lot. Started the brand at when I was a trainer at Temple Fitness, and went through a really, really hard time. Me and my wife separated, you know. She at the time was seeing someone. It was a lot, you know, mentally, and talk about another time we were just like, wow, you know. But again, my brand gave me something to, like, not only the message itself, but it gave me something to focus on. And people started asking, like, hey, bro, you gonna do any more of those shirts? Like, hey, I might do that. And at the time, man, there was a dude, still, he's like a brother to me, Brock Weaver, UFC fighter, grew up in McIntosh, Alabama. I had been following his journey a little bit. Dude came from nothing, you know what I mean? Had a backyard gym with rusted out barbells.
An old pig iron
stuff. Yeah, was hanging, you know, a rope over a tree limb and tying a makeshift boxing bag. Like, dude was just making it happen, you know what I mean? He was doing whatever he had to do to train. There was no gyms around there. It's a super low-income area. Yeah. He's Native American, too, so it was on the reservation, you know.
But he had some sort of goal in mind. Like, he had something that
exactly. You know, and he had the talent. He was, you know, in this area, fought a lot of island fights. And he got a bid for Dana White's Contender Series. So, you know, got on the Contender Series, ended up getting a UFC deal. And I just fired him a message on Facebook. I actually designed a shirt for him, had the shirt already designed up. And I said, hey, I don't know if anybody does any apparel for you, but, you know, with his story, always moving forward, I'm like, you fit everything that I believe this brand is. You know, you haven't allowed your hardships or anything to stop you, and I would love to do a shirt for you. And that message sat there for a while because he had like 28,000. He had like a fan Facebook page where you just follow it. Yeah. So I'm like, he might not even see this. You know what I mean? And about 3 days later, man, he opened it up and he was like, he just put a bunch of flames and he was like, let's do it.
Oh, so you send the picture of the shirt and or whatever?
Yep. And he loved it. You know, we encompassed everything he was, kind of put his tattoo. He's got a Punisher skull tattoo with Indian headdress on it. And that's on the back of the shirt. And they call him Chatatushka, you know, which is like Choctaw warrior in his native language. So
his name is, what was his, the Indian name?
Oh, Chatatushka. It's like, you know, Choctaw warrior. You know, he's a Mowa Choctaw, and Mowa comes from the counties over there. You got Mobile County and Washington County, that's in the Mobile area. So they have a sector of Choctaw Indians that are called the Mowas, And so, you know, we encompassed everything. You know, like I said, I had been watching him for a while. He's, you know, one of the only people to come out of that area. He was inspiring a lot of other people to like, hey,
get out and
if I can get off the res, y'all can too, you know. And still to this day, he's got a gym. I do apparel for his gym. He opened up a gym out there in Jackson, Alabama. So he's still training. He's still, you know what I mean? He's still involved with the sport heavily, and it's cool, man. It's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, he's got his own gym. I don't know, like, the res life, but I imagine it's probably a lot harder to get out because I'm sure a lot of people don't want you to get out, and they don't want to leave.
Right. And, man, it's a, you know, to speak on it and kind of bring some light to it, they go, man, it's I don't think people know the totality of what, I didn't even know it. You know, I was ignorant to it. I didn't know what all Native Americans still to this day, you know, some reservations are federally funded where they get federal funding. They're nice. They're gated communities. This one's not federally recognized. So they don't get they get hardly any funding. So it's super low income. There's not a lot of jobs, which leads to a lot of people having drug problems, you know, you know, all kinds of things, addictions of all kinds. And so, you know, you're surrounded by a lot of negativity, a lot of things that can drag you down. And, you know, he had to have a lot of mental fortitude to stay beeline to his goal, you know, and that was something I loved about him too. But he also, you know, he's one of the most humble people you'll ever meet. You know what I mean? No matter when he got in the UFC, he's fought bare knuckle. He's fought for Jorge Masvidal's Game Bread promotion. So no matter what stages he's ever been on, he literally does not, you know what I'm saying? Just a super cool dude. Would say he'd come do a podcast, I guarantee you. He loves it.
That would definitely be a good story to hear, you know?
Yeah, he's got a heck of a story.
Definitely anybody like that pushed through from where he was.
Yeah. I mean, he was just makeshift and everything. I mean, I'm telling you, you should see the gym he had. It was a clay hill, like behind his grandparents' house. So he would just run up the clay hill like that was his cardio, and dudes out there.
That's rough, bro.
You know, mosquitoes buzzing around him.
Oh, man.
He did that for I think it took him 14 years to turn pro. So he had a ton of amateur fights. Yeah, so he put, you know, a lot of skin in the game before he got his bid, you know.
So how long after you sent him the message with the shirt on it, like how long until y'all actually connected, or did you like ship him out a shirt and he like wore it into a walk-in, or like what?
So so at the time he was in the UFC, or he was about to make his UFC debut.
So he was probably all the way on the West Coast
he was still local, but he was training out of multiple different gyms. Ended up going down to American Top Team in Miami, which is a prominent gym. I mean, a ton of guys. Dustin Poirier trains out of there. Jorge Masvidal has trained out of there. There's been a ton of UFC stars and rising stars it's a top gym in the country.
I've even heard about it, and I'm not in the scene really.
So initially I just had a few shirts ran for him. He made a post about it, and it just kind of from that point, he wasn't allowed to wear it for the walkout because the UFC, they had the Reebok contract. Now they're with Venom. So anything that was paid for by the UFC, you can't wear out. They're basically locked into wearing either Venom or Reebok. So he would wear it for other things though. You know, if he was on podcasts or a news channel came to interview him or whatever, he was definitely rocking it. And you know, that I think that's what, you know, I know for a fact that's kind of what got my foot in that field as far as MMA, which I've always been a huge fan of MMA and boxing. And so
I mean, MMA is a tough sport, man.
Oh yeah, those dudes are.
A lot of careers aren't very long. Like you have a boxer, he can stay in the game for a minute. When you got MMA, man, it's like there's so many different avenues to it. There's so many different. I mean, you got ground guys, you got hitters, you got people that just specialize in so many different aspects of the sport. Right. That at the end of the day, you're not gonna be the top dog.
No. I mean, there's so many facets to it and things that you have to train, when you're and nothing against, because boxing is very technical too. When you get around guys who are doing it on a professional level, the amount of things they have to think about. But then MMA, you got the ground game, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. There's so many facets of mixed martial arts that guys get good at, and they're multifaceted, so you never know what they're going to come with, kind of thing.
I couldn't imagine being even just a boxer, just doing like a whole a fight. Like I know for cardio sometimes like I've like went in and tried to hit the bag for like 30 seconds nonstop.
Same.
Like you tack it for 30 seconds and then like 15 seconds you're like, oh my God.
Yep.
I gotta keep going.
Where
And if you try to do it for a whole minute, man, you're smoked.
Yeah. And I actually get into it. That's the first time I'll still hit the bag every now and then for cardio.
Gives you some respect. Like
bro.
You don't realize that like when you see them people fighting, like you don't realize like how much cardio, even in a boxer, like how much cardio they have to go through. Like you hit the bag intense. For 30 seconds, just air box for 30 seconds. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. I got an amateur guy. He fights next Saturday, Billy Rogers in Pensacola at the Bay Center. And he texted me yesterday morning, was like, I just ran 8 miles, bro, without stopping.
Yeah.
Like the dude would just run. You know what I mean? Like Forrest Gumping it over there, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, these dudes are just built different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of running, man.
Yeah. In the mental, I mean, you got to take yourself somewhere else to run with no breaks and just.
Yeah, I've done it one time. I ran, about 8 miles, and it was right down here. It was before I left for the military. I was just kind of like stupid motivated, and I was just I got into a groove after about three miles. I just got into a groove where I just kind of kept going, like Forrest Gump.
And so I've heard there's like a runner's high.
It is.
So after a certain point, you just don't think about it. And
I just kept the same rhythm, and I just kept going. And in fact, like I don't know if it's because I was fat or what it was, but my maybe it's because I was wearing a wife beater, but my arms were rubbing against my lats, and I got a rash. Yeah. So I was like, damn, I had to stop.
Yep.
That's the reason why I stopped. But that's, I can't do that right now. I try to run 8 miles, I'm dead.
I tell everybody when they're like, do you run? I'm like, bro, you see me running, you might just start running too. Something bad's happening, you know.
Something bad.
If I'm running, run to the pantry in the middle of the night, get a snack.
Yeah.
The only running I do, so.
All right, so you hooked up with him, and he's supporting your brand.
Yeah, and still, I'm the official. So AMF is the official apparel provider for all his gym. I still do MMA shorts and rash guards and stuff for him.
So not for you to spill the beans, but do you do the designing, or do you have like a couple guys that help you out?
I got a couple guys, two graphic designers that have helped me out.
Because that's kind of tough to imagine, like just to come up with something.
Absolutely. Yep, Justin Shackness, we call him Gigs. He works out in Milton. He's honestly designed basically almost every one of the fighter stuff that I've done. He's designing. He's like a tattoo artist for apparel. Like you can give him a couple concepts and he'll be like, all right, give me a second. He'll shoot me a text like 30 minutes and it's like, holy cow. The dude just has and he's self-taught, never went to college for it. Just started teaching himself how to do it. Yeah. And he's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, that's the best type of people right there.
Yeah. I mean, he had a passion for it. And
college don't teach passion.
Yep. He's invested, bought software equipment, out of his own pocket, paid for programs out of his own pocket.
When you put your own skin in the game, that's
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
what we're doing.
Here, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a different level of grit and determination I think you got to have to learn something, and whether it's videography, podcasting, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, all right. So now that you got him with you, how's your personal training going? Like, are you still deep into personal training? I know for a while you were pretty deep in it. Like that was kind of like your thing.
Yeah.
How's that going now?
I'm only doing online. I write programs still, meal plans and training routines for people. But yeah, at one point when I left Temple Fitness, I went out to Anytime Fitness in Milton. Yeah. And I ended up having like 52 clients, and I was just swamped, man.
That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You got to think about what you're going to do with each client while you're
day.
not with the client.
I mean, it also gets hard to have the motivation to train yourself because you've been on your feet for 8-10 hours. And then it's like, oh, well, now's my time to train. But you've been on your feet walking around. And then it's like, well, I still got to be on my feet to train too. So it started affecting, the drive that I had, the energy levels that I had while I was training. I was still able to eat, like I needed to. But I mean, you're just gassed, If anybody stays on their feet for 8-10 hours, you ain't gonna want to do nothing but sit down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. I found that when like I used to be big into like cars and stuff like that, and I had a job just doing something simple like changing oil and tires and stuff, and you're working on them all day long. You're like, you kind of lose the I don't know if you lose the passion, but it's just like
it becomes
motivation, kind of like to mess with your own stuff. I mean, I work on guns and stuff all day, and I get to a point where my gun might be sitting there for
Right.
6 months, and I won't shoot it, or a year, and I won't even shoot my own gun.
Been working on so many other people's, and
Yeah.
you're like, golly, you want to get around to yours. And at the corporate level, like you said, with personal training, I mean, Anytime Fitness is a worldwide. They got like 4,000 locations.
Yeah.
They're worldwide, so they have a corporate system, and they just want you to sell. And
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, like, somebody's paying for a service. I don't want to, once you get so overloaded, I started feeling like people aren't getting the best of me. You know what I mean? They're not getting what they should be getting for what they're paying.
They're getting that quick 45 minutes and you're out.
Yeah. Actually, the sessions over there were 30-minute sessions.
Really?
Yeah. And so that was hard too. When I was at Temple, I trained people for an hour. They gave you a lot to do. You could warm someone up, cool them down.
I used to always get somebody to warm up for, the first 10 minutes.
Exactly.
At least walk on a treadmill or get on elliptical or do something to get a little bit
Same.
a little warm.
And so when it went to, golly, only got 30 minutes, man, I got to really hone in and find out what this person's wanting to learn. And then I have to try to be my best to deliver that to them in that time frame, and some of them were only training with me once a week. So you only got somebody for 30 minutes a week.
And they're expecting results because they're paying.
Right. And so then you got your one time a week people, you're having to like, hey, did you train today? Yeah. And it just, man.
You got to see what they're doing all week so you know what to do. And then if you times that by 30 or 40 clients,
Oh, dude. Exactly.
That's your time off work is tough.
Yep.
Like I get even now, my personal training time was very little, but I still get hit up all the time.
Oh yeah,
people they'll be like, and they don't understand the question they're asking. What they're asking, what they'll do is they'll ask, "Hey man, I need a routine and a meal plan." All right, well that's a $400 gig right there because
it is.
I gotta know what your lifestyle's like. I gotta know where your training level's at.
Yep.
I gotta know your weight. I gotta find out how active you are. Like building those kind of plans like you're doing,
right?
Like it requires a lot of time.
It does, and I limit myself now, especially trying to build the brand. I won't take on any more than 10, maybe 10 people, because even at 10, sometimes at 5, because clients are different too.
Yeah,
some you can send a plan and you won't hear from them. You'll be like, I hope they're doing it.
Yeah,
and then they'll turn around, next thing you know, they done lost 35, 40 pounds because they just kill it.
Yeah,
and then other people, they need a lot of feedback. They need a lot of
everybody's
different, so that's part of that game too. They can get tough.
Yeah, but it's a lot of work
for sure.
That's all I know. A lot of people don't understand.
They don't, man.
They some people think that there's just like all right, I got a notebook with 10 meal plans in it, right? And 10 workout routines for 3 months.
Exactly.
Here you go. Well,
That's
it ain't the same for everybody, so
nope.
you got to change it up all the
time. I mean, I had people, I'm sure, I don't know if you ever heard it, but people were like, man, are you ever going to get a real job? And I'm like,
man, I've heard stuff like that all the time, man.
Real job, bro. I mean,
you're getting paid.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's kids opening up toys, making millions of dollars, and ain't nobody saying,
God, man, that was ridiculous. Yeah.
But you know how it goes. I mean, if they don't understand, they don't, never had any skin in that game, they, it's going to be foreign, and they're just going to think that.
I mean, not everybody's got to be a concrete layer,
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Shout out to the concrete layers, but not everybo's got to do that.
I agree.
And you're not no less of a man because you're sitting behind a desk writing meal
plans and training somebody. Yeah.
I mean, working's working.
It is. If you can get paid doing it. Then.
So what? How do they get to your? You're doing online training, so do you have a website built for that? Or
I don't. I tend, like right now, people reach out to me. I send them a questionnaire. It's, I want to learn their work schedule. How many days a week do they train? What's their starting height, weight? What is their goal weight? Do they have any injuries, food allergies? Do they have, do they participate in other sports where they might be burning? Do they play softball? Do they go hit the tennis ball every now and then or whatever? And I take all that into account, and I essentially create a program for them based on that. And it's just a PDF file.
Yeah.
I email it to them, and it's got their routine.
So pretty much they just come to you from almost like word of mouth or whatever, hit you up on Instagram or Facebook.
Yep, at this point. So pretty much all in. Most of my energy is going towards the brand right now, for sure.
How busy is the brand keeping you?
It's nonstop.
So are you doing everything at your house, like doing shipping?
I got a Shopify store set up.
Mm-hmm.
I use a business out of Milton. They fulfill my a majority of my orders. They fulfill. Some of them I get you know, I order apparel from overseas too. I got some
Yeah.
manufacturers in Pakistan, some in China that do some of the MMA gear and like the ladies' leggings that are about to come out.
Yeah.
So that stuff, that comes from overseas, and then essentially I go down there a few days a week. We fulfill whatever orders have came in, and I take them to the post office. You know,
That's hard to find. I've kind of dabbled in that a little bit, and it's hard to find like someone that like you go to Shopify and you'll see all these places where you can get shirts made and this and that, but it's hard to find someone that does a quality product because you'll put your stamp on something and you'll order it just to see what it looks like or feels like, and you get it and it's complete crap.
Oh yeah.
I made the mistake of doing that,
man.
and then having someone like ordered something from me just to support me, and they get it and it's like, oh, this is shit.
Yeah,
I'm not wearing this. But, you know, they don't want to tell me that, but I order it, and I'm like, oh, wow, they ordered this? Like, this is what they got?
This is,
And then
there is a lot of shirt companies online that they're going to use the cheapest, you know, 100% cotton. You wash it one time, it fits like a box. And I'm picky.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? I know you know Grunt Style.
Yeah.
So Grunt Style Clothing, I actually had a sponsorship with them prior to AMF, and then I had to cut that because conflict of interest. I can't make my own shirts, but like the way a Grunt Style shirt fit, I loved it. You know, I love the way those shirts fit, and so I found a manufacturer that similar style fit for us guys. That like, you know, every guy wants the shirt to fit better up around
your
the
arms,
shoulders,
but they don't want it to be. Yeah, you don't want to have to wear a small shirt to have the sleeves hugging.
Exactly.
You know?
So that was something I went after, and you know, most everybody, you can use Grunt Style as a reference, and they're like, oh yeah, I bought one of those shirts. I love the way it fits. So you try to find the fit that people like.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
That.
For sure.
I'm picky, man. People ask me all the time, when are you gonna drop? When are you gonna do this? Are you gonna make this? I'm like, yeah, but I want to make sure it's quality. I don't want to put out.
Yeah, you gotta vet it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to put out garbage. So
I'm that way with hats too. I've ordered a couple hats from like a couple of friends that had different companies, and you know. Shout out to them. I keep their hats and stuff, but I don't really wear them because I'm so picky. I'm picky about what I wear and what I like.
Man.
You know?
It has to feel good on you. You know, that's a big part of it. So
I've bought like 4 hats with my logo on it, and I was like, man, this is crap.
Right.
This is crap. I'm not wearing it.
Done. Yeah.
Garbage.
And I've had the same experience. I mean, my first couple runs of shirts, I'm still to this day having to order samples. I'll get a manufacturer to do a sample of something, send it to me. And I'll see, like, okay, this is good. We can roll with this. Or, like you said, no, I can't sell this to somebody and go to sleep at night. You know what I mean? And be like,
knowing that
they paid, especially in the world, like the economy the way it is.
Yeah, when they're paying $20, $30 for a shirt,
they need to be getting, you know, what they paid for.
This would be a good shirt.
For sure.
So this right here is pretty much, this is your full-time gig right now, right? Because I know for a while you were doing like some insurance stuff.
Yeah, I did life insurance for a little while, selling life insurance.
You were doing that while you were personal training and starting your building.
So
your
brand I sold life insurance. I was an agent myself, and then I ended up working for Corey Schroeder, who owns Temple Fitness. I ended up working out of his office, but I was basically just an assistant to him. Yeah. So I would help, you know, book appointments or follow up appointments, or, you know, help file paperwork, whatever it might be, to kind of help the process of what he was doing. So
basically just a job.
I still had my agent's license, you know, so I still could have wrote, but I wasn't contracted with New York Life, and so I couldn't write policies, you know, so I just did essentially office work. So,
well, so now that you're just doing your brand, that's kind of your full-time gig, just that and personal training right now.
Yeah,
that's just what you're doing.
That's it.
It's gotta keep you busy.
It does. I love it though. I mean, you know, I've seen a lot of different things training out of gyms, and it gives me the freedom to be able to make you know, I know the harder I work or the more time I put in. Yeah.
The more reward.
The more reward. And it may not be immediately, you know. I'll be honest, in any business owner, I think they'll attest to this. Like, most businesses either lose or break even their first couple years. Normally, like the first 3 to 5, I think is the stat on it. But, you know, and a lot of people, they see and they're like, man, it must be nice, da-da-da-da. And it's like, right now, man, sometimes it's just treading water until you catch the next big break, you know. And people go through that for a while.
It takes a long time to establish that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And a lot of people will get discouraged right out the gate because they don't see that result that they want.
Correct.
They don't see they want to see the end goal before it actually starts. So if they're and some people just have to bail out of it just because simply they just can't afford it.
And I've been blessed with that too. There's times, obviously, me and my wife, we rely on each other. So there's times that I've had other people invest in it. I got a good friend out of Pace. He owns a seamless gutter company. Daryl Bell, met him at Anytime Fitness in Milton. That's how we met, and then we just became really, really close friends. So he kind of, he's put some money into the brand, and as far as getting a return on it, kind of like a shark, I haven't got the Shark Tank level yet, but so I've had some blessings for sure on that.
Well, I mean, you pretty much started your company without having you didn't. I'm assuming you didn't get like a business loan to start your stuff.
Nah, man, and business loans are so tricky because there's companies out there. Matter of fact, once I got the LLC, made everything official, you start getting letters in the mail. Well, you're pre-approved for 20, 30, 40,000. And then, the interest rates are like 40%, so it's not a long term. It's not a good move because the amount of interest you'll be tied into that. So a lot of times if you can find an investor where there's not going to be a huge interest on it, it's just going to be a percentage of return, on their original investment or whatever, that generally is, I'm sure it all depends on the scale, how large the business is.
Oh, yeah.
But for where I'm at right now, that's kind of the move, so.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it's working out for you right now. I mean, like I said, I've been seeing it for years now.
It's cool, man. Like I said, it's still, like you said, seeing somebody – it's crazy to me. You know what I mean? Of course, I don't think anybody starts anything going, I don't want it to go anywhere. I'm cool with it staying like nothing. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody gonna do that. But when people are like, hey, I saw a decal, or I saw, like, it's still a super humbling feeling. You know what I mean? It's surreal, kind of. I mean, some of the guys, I don't know if you saw, but a couple weeks ago, Dylan Kleckler out of Pensacola, he fought for a world heavyweight title in the BKFC, and I was able to do all his fight gear and have it on that stage and stuff like that. Having those guys, and trust me, it means a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you worked hard for it. So where things stand, like, with your company? Do you have anything, like, any kind of new, like, something big that's gonna happen right now, or like you just got any? Couple of new things you're working on, like
the biggest thing is probably going to be the ladies, the seamless leggings and sports bra sets that are coming out. In the world of apparel, I'm sure you know that women, no offense to women, they shop more than we do.
Picky too,
and they are pickier. This pair of shorts I got on, I've had for 2 years. You know what I mean? Until the holes in these, they staying on me. It's like I don't need another pair of shorts, but for a girl. A woman can have an event coming up, and they might have 20 outfits in the closet. They're going to be like, I need to go get a fit, an dress or whatever. So statistically, man, they do. They just consume more apparel.
Yeah.
They are the target market for apparel companies.
Yeah. Dudes, we buy like a T-shirt here and there.
And you look at even what you would think would be more of a male brand, like Grunt Style. Patriotic Guns.
Yeah.
They got girl stuff, and girls love it. You got those girls that are super patriotic. They like to shoot. They like to. So I think in the world of apparel, focusing there is key.
A good move, yeah.
Yeah, it's key.
So when do you have like a time frame of when these leggings might drop, or?
So we actually this week, I made the payment in April for the production to be done. They hit me back. It's a huge manufacturer overseas. They've actually manufactured for a couple other huge brands, and brands I respect. I'm sure some of like Navigation. I don't know if you've seen Navigation leggings, or like a lot of people know Gymshark, or it's one of those factories. Like they've manufactured stuff for some major brands. So I know they're super busy. Their workload, and they were like 4 to 6 weeks turnaround. Well, they messaged me at 4 weeks, and they're like, hey, ran into an issue. The sets that you originally chose were no longer manufacturing. So I had to, like, the last couple of days I've been running polls on,
trying to figure out
what color. I mean, I got the design. I got the design down. It's down, but trying to figure out which color, because girls are bigger about color, fit. It's definitely it is definitely more challenging to market to the.
Well, I'm sure it's a learning experience.
Oh, dude, every day, yeah.
Well, at least you got some good insight, you know. You
Yeah,
got
and
a
I'm
lot of
still
people
trying to
around you
learn and research and statistics and I think too that most women got to see it on somebody first.
Yeah.
Shoot, you throw up an AR-15 or whatever, and we look at it, we're like, I just want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
We ain't got to see somebody else shoot it.
Yeah.
It can look cool enough, and we'll just want it. But with women, it can look good enough, but they want to see how it fits on other women. They want to see, there's a lot more aspects that they need to see first before they're like, okay, I'll go with this. So, yeah, so it's a lot, but it's cool.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's good. So switching lanes here a little bit, and I don't know if it's something you want to touch on, man. But how are you, like, kind of mentally right now with things that have happened in a recent past?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll definitely be willing to talk about it. It's been tough, to be 1,000% honest. I lost my brother in January. January 29th. I was actually at a Island Fights event. My wife, a couple of my friends, TJ Oglesby, we actually had a party deck that we rented out. My business partners from Milton paid for the party deck. Had a guy that I sponsored fighting for a title that night. He ended up winning the title, so it was a great night. But the whole night, they actually knew that my brother passed away, and they had to keep it from me because I think they knew that if they told me during the event, it was going to throw me off. And I take a lot of pride with the guys that I sponsor, I don't want them to feel any negative energy coming off of me when they're trying to mentally tone me in for a fight. They're already dealing with enough. They've been in a camp, training, cutting weight, whatever it might be. So they're locked in. And the kind of energy you bring around them, to me, is important. You go in there and you're mentally upset, whatever, it might throw them off. So
it wears off.
So yeah, huge shout out to my family and everybody who was there that night.
It had to be hard.
I can't imagine what And I found out actually after the event, and I'll never forget it. You know what I mean? My mom, she wanted to FaceTime me. She was actually on the way to the event when she found out, but she texted me, said, "Hey baby, something came up. I'm not gonna make it." That happened. So I didn't think. You don't never think. That's what happened.
So everybody around you is kind of on the same page. They all kind of knew.
My mom ended up informing Jamie, my wife, and then she informed my friends and was like,
"What do I do?"
Yeah, just what do I do? But please, don't let him know. She wants to tell him afterwards. And it was a shock, and it was I was angry at first, bro. I mean, I ain't gonna lie.
Oh yeah. I imagine.
I was like. And the way it was worded, my mom, get on the FaceTime thing and, hey, how'd the event go? And then immediately I just started seeing like she had been crying. I'm like, yo, what's going on? It's like midnight at this time because the fight event didn't get over till 10:30, whatever. And she's like, I got to tell you something. And of course,
you already know.
You know how that goes, bro. It's like, it's going to be something that's probably going to rock you, or it's going to be something that's not the best thing you want to hear. And she just said, your brother's gone. And I was like he went back. I'm thinking, is he went back in the military or like he had to go somewhere for a job or and like when she said that, it was just, you know what I mean?
You weren't expecting
it. And it almost felt, it was a long day. You know how when stuff hits you at the end of a long day, you're like, am I like delirious right now? Am I dreaming? Is this really going on? And that's how I felt, And I was actually at Daryl's house, my buddy who has got the gutter company. And so you're obviously not wanting to break down in somebody else's house. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I was like punching the air, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I went out in the living room. I was upset. I didn't know what had gone on. And it's been tough, but I will say I know where he's at. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of signs since then. God's shown a lot of things through it, and but it's still, I think anybody who's lost someone close, a family member, husband, wife, son, daughter, whatever the case might be, they'll attest to grief and healing from that is not just a linear process. You know,
Yeah.
it's not just this thing where you're just like, okay, we're good.
It never completely goes away.
Nah, man.
I don't think it ever does.
You
Because,
know.
I mean, I was adopted by my papa, and I took care of him until he passed away, and I'm the one that found him dead in the house, and I'm the one that had to inform the rest of the family on
Right.
Father's Day that he was passed.
Man.
I helped load his body up on a thing to get him out of the house, and I'll tell you, when I went through it, it was odd because when it happened, but different than your situation.
Right.
I knew it was eventually coming.
Right.
Yours kind of hit
Still
you
hard,
like a
though.
brick wall.
You know what I mean?
But having to know that you got to be strong for the people around you
Man,
gives
you're
you
about to
some
be preaching.
strength. Yeah, it gives you strength because when I had to go out there and tell her wife, his wife, my grandma,
Right.
his daughters, they were all on the back porch. I had to tell them all, and
That's
all
it.
right. So he's in the living room and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing I had to do that, and knowing that everybody's there, like you said, that you put off a certain vibe and people are gonna, it's just kind of.
Yeah, that's a huge weight that you had
Yeah.
to bear in that moment. You know what I mean?
And then moving forward, I'm still here with my grandma, so I still kind of keep that strength,
To
about
do
me.
that.
And it teaches you. I mean, it was a weird passing of strength, right? It's like when he passed away, like I had to kind of step up and kind of be strong for everybody around me,
And that's
that
tough
was
too.
hard.
And that'll wear on you, man.
Yeah,
And I know.
And with my problems with alcohol and stuff like that, I'm surprised I didn't completely lose it. you
Yeah,
know?
I still, and that's so true, and I'm sure a lot of people don't want to truly talk about the reality of all this stuff because it's hard. But like what you went through, stepping into that position,
Yeah.
Even though you were strong in that moment, that weight, it takes a toll in that moment. You don't like what I've noticed is I had to do the same thing a lot, at the very beginning, and I was getting shirts made for my brother for his service and ordering his shirt that he had to wear. And
You immediately went into action.
I went into action,
to
so
keep you going.
right. And when you go into action, you're not yet grieving yet.
Yeah,
you're not
paused and took time.
Right, because you're feeling a role. And a lot of times what happens is like, for me personally, I don't know if you felt this way, but the toll hits you after the dust settles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you in that moment, you became the warrior for everybody. You became the person that everyone needed, and you did it without thinking. And that's where it's like, for me, I'm like, had to have been God or something, for me, like, because there's looking back in retrospect, we just do it. It's almost like we don't know we're doing it. And people will say, man, you were so strong. You were so this. And it's like, it took a blow on me, It's
Something
like
you had to do. But
yeah.
At the end of the road there, when you actually have time, like when you run out of stuff to keep yourself like 100% busy,
Man,
and then you actually hit like a stop sign and you actually have to stop for a second.
That's right.
Then it's like, that's when you really feel that heavy weight. And then what you do at that point is so important. How you handle that is so important.
That's so true.
It can
That's
take
the truth.
it
Yeah.
can take it.
And I've seen it. I've seen it happen. And I've seen people lose people and then they lose themselves, whether it be to drugs. And I don't judge that because we've all if we've been in that situation, we've all felt it. We've all felt, hey, you know what? I might just go off the deep end for a little while, I'm hurting so there's, like you said, it's so crucial in that moment, And so I don't even judge people. Like if somebody loses somebody and ends up battling alcohol or a drug for a while, I understand the reason they did it, I can't really cast a judgment on that, because the amount of pain is sometimes unbearable and people are just trying to.
A moment of weakness, and it just kind of end up flowing down the river, man.
That's right.
Because it's hard,
it's
man.
tough. And certain pain, it mentally becomes overbearing for people,
Yeah.
And if they don't have a good support system or, then that too, like.
Yeah.
I've been blessed to have a lot of good people around me, to reach out and pick me up when I need it, and don't get me wrong, I still battle lows,
Oh yeah.
I don't know when it'll stop, January is not too long ago. I don't know if there's a timeline on it either. So that's another thing I would tell people is, take your time, heal, you got to, for the people around you, for yourself, most importantly, but take your time with it and not everybody's healing process. It's just like a path to success. Not everybody's going to be the same. You know, some people might need 5, 6, 7 years or whatever. And I don't think that anybody should tell someone else you need to hurry up and be done with it, you know?
Yeah.
Because that stuff takes a toll, for sure.
Yeah, and everybody approaches it differently. That's for sure. I know. I'm just thankful that in my situation that when you have problems with substance abuse or alcohol abuse already, and then you get a blow like that, you gotta it's so easy to use things as an excuse to get back out there and get, you know, do your thing.
Yeah, mad respect to you for that, because there are people who couldn't have done that, you know. And like I said, I don't judge those people, but it takes a level of like a mental fortitude that's almost hard to even describe to people. Yeah, you know, those feelings that come on and the temptations, and I mean, my head's a couple times just felt like a whirlwind. Like, there's so much going on in there that you're like, you have to slow down, because if you make a decision while your head's spinning like this, then probably won't be a good one. Yeah, you know? And I remember David Goggins was talking about this kind of stuff. He's like, man, like, it's gonna happen. Everyone listening to this, most people already been through it, but like, everything around, like, stuff around you is going to eventually take a giant shit on you, and it's gonna hurt. Like, you're gonna lose a lot of people around you that you love. I mean, and it sucks to think about, but it's literally one of the biggest hurdles to jump over in your life, and it's one of the most important. It's almost like you go through a little phase, like a little battle, right? So you get through it, and you realize, that you were tough enough to make it through it. Absolutely, yeah. When you could have easily, and it happens, like you said, you could have easily went the other way and just, bad things happen. Right. But everyone eventually is going to have to deal with something like this. Yeah. And it's a defining moment, like you're talking about. Yeah, that's it defines, in that moment is when, for you to be able to overcome what you did. And I mean, I think it's awesome. You know what I mean? I think it's awesome, bro, that you've overcame that. And like you said, you got hit with a major blow. So in my eyes, it was kind of like, so that was at the tail. That was after you was already, like, sobriety. You were already walking that or very close. Well, actually, to be completely honest, before he passed, I was drinking. Right after he passed, I wasn't. I went a phase without it, and then I got back into it a little bit. Right. And then, so to get to where I'm at right now with sobriety and stuff, I normally would go 8 or 9 months. I wouldn't drink, and then I get back on it. And this is after, like, all the trouble I got in. This is after he passed away. Right. I still went back to it. So we're looking at 2.5 years now that I haven't had anything, anything to drink. That's awesome, but bro. Yeah, it's not, and as you say, overcame. I haven't completely have not overcame it yet. Right. And I don't think I ever will. Right. So it's always going to be something I'm going to wear. Always. Absolutely. And I think that's why. But I don't mean to cut you off. No, but like you're talking about having support and stuff like that. Like, man, I have one of the best friends I could ever ask for. My friend Grant. Like, he won't hang out with me if I've been drinking. He don't talk about drinking around me. Like, he don't hardly let anybody else talk about it around me, because it's weird. Like, even though I've been through all that stuff, like when I see a cold beer or I even think about it, my mouth salivates. Like, I just it's like, man, know. Even though I know I have to, like, override it. I know I can't deal with it. But I think I've actually said this on one of the other podcasts. Like, if I was it's crazy, because keeping the right people around you is so important. Because if I was to go out tonight to a bar right here in town, I guarantee it. I don't keep it a secret that I'm sober and I've had problems with alcohol. Literally, everyone who knows who I am knows that. Right. Everyone. However, if I go to the bar tonight, I guarantee it, someone will buy me a drink if I want it. Even though, right. Absolutely. So that's why I keep a certain group of people so close. Absolutely. And I turn down all the time. I turn down offers to go out places, like, hey, man, you got a birthday party. Hey, man, we're going to go out to the river. Hey, we're going to do this. Right. And I turn literally almost every single body down. And it's not because I'm being an asshole and I don't want to hang out with them. It's just I know that the battle is still in my head. There. I'm still fighting it. Being accountable. So, and, I think that brings up something good, man. Like what you said ties back into the people around you. I you know, I ain't a person to knock anybody or whatever, but like people, if you know what somebody's had to overcome with a substance or whatever, whatever it is, like in my opinion, you shouldn't even present that to that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't. I have a hard time believing that if a person really, really cared about myself, you, whoever it might be that would struggle or whatever, like, you know what this person's had to put in mentally. You know what this person has had to overcome. Don't even, you know, go that way with it, because you should respect the fact, you know, there are some people that can, you know, socially drink, never a problem. And I think convictions are different too. You know, there's some people who certain things they know, I just can't do that, because if I do, it's bad. It may not be bad for everybody, but if you know that it was something, man, be on their side with it. You know what I mean? Help them celebrate that walk, you know.
But that's the difference between like true friends that are, like I said, my little close circle, and just like people that I know. Is the people that I know that are kind of like friends, they don't mean to, like when they invite me out, they know that I don't want to drink, but they know everyone there's going to be out there drinking, but they don't see it like the people that are really close to me see it, right? So I put myself in a risky situation if I do that. So I try, you know, that's why I normally turn people down. And it's not their fault. They're not trying to be saboteurs to my sobriety.
It's like not a they just malicious intent.
Yeah,
but
they're just not proactive with, like, they don't really have my best interest 100% at heart.
Right.
That's it.
It's not that they purposely mean.
I guess what I'm trying to say, like, if you have problems and stuff like that, if you're a social butterfly and you just hang out with a million people, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but in my experience, I've had to just kind of draw down the people I'm around, and it's worked. That's worked for me. Everything's different for everybody, but that's something that's worked for me.
And you got to do what works for you.
And I try to help other people out whenever. I mean, I get reached out to every now and then. Someone will hit me up and they'll, you know, ask me questions about it and try to get some advice. And it's kind of hard to give advice because it's like me. I didn't stop drinking until, like, literally one day I was just like, all right, I've already been to jail 5 times. I've lost 2 careers. I've been an absolute idiot over this stuff, and just one day I was just like, man, I'm done with it.
Right.
I'm not doing it no more. And literally, it was just a weird. It wasn't because I got in trouble. It wasn't because of this or that. It was just literally one day I was like, finally, this is it. I'm not gonna deal with it no more.
Right.
It was strange.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I can say I know you've had to have inspired a few people. I see them commenting on the posts, and
I hope.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I hope.
I know you do. I know you do, man. I know you have. You know, there's no way there's somebody. You know, and here's the thing: the reality of social media is they might not have commented on your post, but they might have read it, and then they might have made the same. They might have had that same moment you had, where that they read your post and they were like, "This is it for me. I'm done with it."
Yeah.
You know,
and that's why I make it so public. Like my battles with it, I make it public, not just so other people can see it, and not honestly, it's kind of for a selfish reason, more for me to keep myself accountable. Because if everyone knows, like,
that's no different.
This dude is bragging about being sober. I don't brag about it, but this dude's talking about being sober all the time.
That's no different in my opinion than me posting a gym picture.
Yeah,
you know, and some people might do that strictly. Some people see it as vanity. You know, he's being cocky or she's being arrogant, vain. They may just be doing it to be accountable to going. You know?
Keeps you motivated.
So I don't think there's anything selfish about that, bro.
Yeah. Well, shit, man. We've hit about an hour on this one here, man. Yeah. You got anything else you wanna put out there? Or?
Nah, I mean, I appreciate it.
Where can people order, like, your apparel?
Yeah, so the website is www.weareamf.com. That's the Shopify store. Everything's on there. Everything that we currently have available. Facebook page is Project AMF. IG handle is @ProjectAMF.
And if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on YouTube, I'm going to get the links from him to all of those places, and I'm going to put it in the description below the video, so you'll be able to just kind of easily find him and support the brand or just check it out. I mean, there's nothing negative to moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that path's different for everybody too. Yeah. You know. That slow progress is better than no progress. I posted something just this morning. You know, forward is forward.
You're right.
It don't matter how fast or slow you do it. Yeah. I got respect for everybody who's taking a step in the right direction, even if it's just small step. So
yeah. Well, all right, man.
Appreciate
you.
It was
a good one, bro.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, for sure. All right.